about to go behind enemy lines on WNJC.
Roger, 3-2. Goliath copies all. Go ahead. Target is surrounded by multiple firms entering what appears to be a residential area. Requesting permission to engage.
From the People's Republic of New York City, you're now going behind enemy lines with Gene Baradelli and Russ Gallo.
And you're now behind enemy lines. Hey there, how you doing, America? Gene Baradelli, Russ Gallo here. Russ, what's going on, man?
Gene. Tonight's going to be awesome. We got the Yak here, by the way.
It's going to be a hot one. We got Yak Bard in the house. Yak, how you doing, pal?
I am fabulous as always. How you guys doing?
Well, clearly, is it 2 drink minimum Wednesday again? Or Tuesday? Well, I don't even know what day it is.
I'm 6 to 8 in already,
it's
just so you know.
No drink and fully medicated Tuesday, I guess.
All right, then, Lord help us, here we go. We got a great show for you tonight. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit of insanity, but it's been an insane season lately, Russ, when it comes to the news coming out of the presidential election cycle. When we have to talk about insanity on the campaign trail, you got to bring in Yak.
Ouch! Gene just touched me. I'm filing charges, assault and battery.
Oh, come on.
I did not touch you!
No, well, ouch! That's it, assault and battery. I want you both in jail. I'm pressing charges.
Oh, okay. All right.
Drop the mace, step away from the mic.
And by the way, Yak just pointed out, there is, and we should put this up on the Twitters, Russ, there is a can of mace on the table right now.
Maybe we can get somebody to take a picture of this and put it
that
out
is
there.
for our protection from Yak. And I'm going to get that up on the BEL Twitters. Russ, obviously you are alluding to, in your subtle way, the news early this week about Trump's campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, who is basically the second in command, a man Donald Trump trusts, has been arrested. He turned himself in to the Jupiter County Police based upon a complaint filed by Michelle Fields, friend of the show, former guest of the show, regarding what she is claiming as an assault against her and a battery against her. And based upon video evidence obtained from the Trump compound in, I believe, was this in Mar-a-Lago, I guess? It was somewhere in Florida. The Jupiter Police and the prosecutor of the county have decided to press charges for a misdemeanor assault and battery against Mr. Lewandowski. Russ and I are on two sides of this thing. And by the way, none of it has to do with our friendship with Michelle. She's always been a friend of the show. We love her to death. This is nothing personal. We are discussing the pure legalities and perceptions and politics of the issue. And because I'm such a magnanimous host and such a good friend to my friend Russell, I'm going to allow him to go first on this one. So you go right ahead, pal. I promise I will not interrupt you. I'm not even going to use the bell or the mace. So you can just take us on your perspective of this. And your perspective being, of course, not only a conservative and a voter, but also someone with a strong law enforcement background. So take it away, my friend, and lead me down this path you want to take me.
Well, lots of things to say here, but I hope it's a back and forth. I don't want to just have like a 2-minute,
No.
back and forth.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm glad Gene mentioned friend of the show, Michelle Fields. We love her to death. We've had her on the show several times, and Gene last week made it an issue to not speak about this, which we kind of touched on at the end of the show, and I'm glad that he came around, and now we're going to actually talk about it a little more in depth.
Well, now it's an issue. Now there are charges. Now there's meat to it. You know?
Yeah, well, I'm going to run down a couple of quick things. Hopefully we go back and forth, and we explore these things a little more. But first of all, man up. That's my first bullet point I wrote down. As soon as I'm looking at this stuff, man the F up. Listen, Michelle, I love you to death, but come on. If that was a man pulling another man, guess what? It's not an issue. When Uma, or however you say it,
Huma Abedin?
Yeah, Anthony Weiner's
Side piece.
No, I think she's the real one.
No,
She's the main one.
She might be the main one, but she's probably the side piece by this point.
She did the same
Given Anthony
thing.
Weiner.
She did the same exact thing to someone trying to speak to Hillary, and it never became an issue because it was woman on woman. If you want to be in this kind of a game, you got to man up. All right, that's first of all. Second of all, if it wasn't Donald Trump involved in this, it would not be an issue. I mean, that's clear. If this was two people on the street, it would not be an issue. And I'm going to read to you what what constitutes the charge of simple battery. In Florida, the term battery means any actual and intentional touching or striking of another person against that person's will.
I commend you on the I commend you on the show prep, by the way.
I appreciate it. So any intentional touching that's non-consensual. So if you tap someone on the shoulder and say, "Hey, buddy, excuse me," or you bump into someone by accident, well, that would be that would be unintentional. But any intentional touching. So some people, I know when my mother talks to me, she likes to touch my arm. Is that a battery?
Aww.
Is that a battery?
I think you consent to the simple touching of your arm.
Again, we're overdoing this, and we're going to go down this path.
And we love you, Mama Gala.
And I'm almost done, Gene. I'm going to throw it over to you, but a couple of more bullets I just want to throw out there. I hope you're not offended and charge me with threatening you or harassing. I said bullets.
Oh, no, it's okay. I'm in my safe space. We're good.
All right, so legalese and lawyer speak, which Gene is going to do soon because we did this before the show,
and makes a lot of money on
legalese and lawyer speak versus commonsensical speech like mine. Even that might not be a real term, but I'm Donald Trump-esque when it comes to this stuff, and this is why Donald Trump is surging, because he talks to the everyday man. He doesn't go down this path of, well, the letter of the law says this is a battery. Watch the videos, folks. It's not a battery. It's not an assault. It's laughable what's going on here. I predict these charges are going to get dropped. Nothing comes of this. There's definitely no jail time here. There's no way this goes to trial. Charges dropped. No harm done at the end of the day. Michelle Fields, man up. That's all I got to say.
Well, allow me to retort, Russ, because to me, this can't be more than a first-year law student problem. This is the quintessential law school assault and battery that we all learn in torts and in criminal law. This is a prime example. First of all, there are multiple videos of the event. When taken in totality, what you see in the videos are Michelle Fields and Donald Trump walking together. You then see Corey Lewandowski coming up from behind, and without Michelle seeing him or knowing that he is there, grabbing her arm, pulling her arm backwards. Michelle taking 2 steps backwards as a result of the tugging on her arm. You also see the person who claims to be an eyewitness to the event, one of the reporters from one Washington paper or another, I believe his name is Bettis, looking directly at the grabbing and the pulling by Lewandowski on Fields. So you know that he is a credible witness. Beyond that, you have the evidence of the damage that Michelle Fields is claiming, and that is the bruising on the spot where she claims that she was grabbed. It's the same arm, and she claims that, obviously you're at a press event, you're credentialed to be there. You can approach the person who's hosting the event, Donald Trump. He's walking out and he's talking to people, including reporters, and there is a flow to the traffic that's walking, and it's all centered around Donald Trump. As Donald Trump is exiting and talking to Michelle Fields, she gets pulled backwards. Are there stronger cases of assault and battery? Are there more serious cases of assault and battery? Absolutely. But that doesn't make an assault any less criminal because there was little or no damage. It may have a bearing on the punishment or the penalty if proven later on in the court of law. And let's put it out there. Right now these are allegations. Right now this is internet stuff with videos going back and forth. But is there enough there for a reasonable law enforcement officer to see a charge? Absolutely. Is there enough for, let's even say, an overzealous prosecutor to make a name for themselves and to put a charge up? Absolutely. This is something that I think Russ would agree with me on when I say that this would be in the discretion of law enforcement and the prosecutor's office, the district attorney's office for the county, as to whether charges should be brought. Is this a political witch hunt? Your guess is as good as mine. There's word out there that the prosecutor is a prime supporter of Hillary Clinton in Florida. He could be making a name for himself. He could be supporting the Clinton campaign. Fact of the matter is, it's a judgment call. And I think it's the right judgment call. If someone did that to someone I know and, bruise them up, the squeeze that you would have to put on someone's forearm to make a bruise, possibly significant depending on the person, I could see this for what it is. A very mild case of assault and battery that is being magnified because of the political race. Go ahead, Russ. You're going to attack me. I see it coming.
It's almost laughable. I mean, this is why people hate lawyers. And
Gene,
this is why,
you ignorant slut.
I mean, Jesus Christ, no offense, Yak. I mean...
I'm not offended. You do your thing, I do my thing.
Yak Bard,
and we're going to get him on the show in a little while.
Yak Bard, the Elie Wiesel of Behind Enemy Lines.
But this is almost laughable. I mean, when lawyers speak, this is why, listen, Ted Cruz, I love him to death. Again, he's still my first choice, but a guy like Ted Cruz, I don't know if he can win. Because when lawyers speak, you put us to sleep, and it's nonsensical. The average man doesn't care. That's not an assault and battery. If you watch the video from the overhead camera that Donald Trump provided, by the way.
And we have many times.
I'm watching it on loop right now. According to Gene, the lawyer, there's about 100 assault and batteries going on in that crowd because everybody's bumping into everybody. Everybody's tapping each other on the shoulder.
Oh, no. Wait a minute now. When you're at a press event...
I thought I was going to speak, but that's okay. Go ahead.
No problem, but when you're wrong, you're wrong. When you're at a press event...
You were wrong several times. I didn't jump in. But go ahead.
When you're at a press event and you are there working and you understand the environment, the idea is reasonableness, Russ. There's going to be bumping and shoving and moving around and jockeying for position at these events by press at the end of an event. But that does not mean that one of the people doing the event has the right to grab your arm and pull you backwards.
Gene has took the cheese that I put out and fallen into my trap.
Oh, let's see this now. Go ahead. Come on.
You're correct.
We're talking about cheesy. We're talking about Russ Geller right now.
In the event that it was a press conference, an active press conference going on, and she was battered. Battered women, by the way, take offense to this, but Michelle Fields was battered by this guy, supposedly. If it was an active press conference and she was battered, then maybe you have a point. The press conference was officially announced as being over. Donald Trump announced he will be taking no further questions and was walking off.
You know as well as I do that even when the official event is over, there's still an opportunity to get quotes. We've done it.
Correct, ourselves. Gene. But if you watch the video, and Donald Trump has said this himself, she was actually touching him throughout the video.
And that is not...
That is also a battery according to Florida statute. The intentional touching against the other person's will, non-consensual. Well, so should Donald Trump pursue counter charges against her for battering him? This is ridiculous.
He could have.
He still can. There's no statute. He's within the statute of limitations to file a charge. This is insanity.
So then let him. And that's why we've titled this show Silly Season.
But this is why you use discretion as a law enforcement officer. This is clearly political. If two people were on the street, if a man, Gene, listen to me for one second.
Now before you jump in, County have abused their discretion.
Before you jump in here, Gene, please listen to me. If your mom was walking down the street and someone, a man, a woman, a bum, whatever, was coming up to your mom that close and actually touching her arm or tapping your mom, trying to ask your mom questions. You could say it's a different scenario, but just listen to me because you're a lawyer here, not being subjective, right? So they're touching your mom. Would you not do the same thing that Lewandowski did and pull him back and say, all right, enough?
I would do worse. I would do a lot worse.
Would you not? Gene, go ahead.
If it's my mom...
Yes.
And it's on the street.
Yes.
And it's someone that she doesn't know that is actively pursuing her. You want to say it's in a quick manner, a slow manner?
Asking a question, not actively pursuing.
Saying, excuse me.
Touching your mom's arm or walking with her against your mother's will. She said, I'm not going to answer your question.
Are there any words being exchanged before the touching?
She said, I'm not going to answer your question, but she still persisted to keep moving and ask the question.
Absolutely, I would stop the guy.
Okay, so you're a batterer. You're a woman batterer. Look at you. Disgraceful.
Absolutely not.
Your Honor, I rest my case
because there is
the prosecution right, the defense right.
And this is why I'm the lawyer and you're not. Because there is clearly a difference between the scenario that you're talking about, where someone says, go away before the touching. There's no indication that Donald Trump is saying go away. He's walking side by side with her at the same pace. It's not like she's trying to catch